was never really good playing role of the puppet. Too busy being me to be concerned with perception of the public. Everyone is buzzing, but everybody ain't thinking about a budget. I want ownership in something. Niggas get they...
She traveled on Earth and became an associate of MODOK and AIM at some point. Following AIM's orders, she battled Miss Marvel in New York one evening after Carol Danvers' Park Avenue penthouse was destroyed by a bomb. Deathbird was born Kalsi Narimani to the ruling house of the Shi'ar Imperium on the Eri, now known as Chandilar, native world of the Shi'ar. Her name was stripped from her after it was prophesied that she was destined to commit great evil. She was exiled after brutally murdering both her mother and an unnamed sister. The skirmish was interrupted after Deathbird severely injured the superhero, who became distracted trying to save the lives of two small children. It later resumed when Carol, going undercover, discovered that AIM had a secret headquarters underneath Alden's department store. The battle between the two seemingly ended with Deathbird's demise and MODOK's escape after betraying her. Whether Deathbird sought revenge on AIM remains unknown. She did battle Hawkeye while still on Earth. She battles Ms. Marvel again. Sometime later, her younger sister Lilandra became Magistrix of the Empire, following the events that left their brother Deken comatose. Deathbird decided to take the throne for herself and allied with the councilmen Samadar, alien parasites called the Brood, and renegade members of the Imperial Guard in an attempted coup. The X-Men defeated her and her allies, but not before being infected by the Brood, although they were ultimately cured thanks to the efforts of Danvers and the Akanti Soul Singer. She later succeeded in deposing Lilandra with the aid of the Brood and took the throne for herself. As ruler of the Shi'ar Empire, she contended with the Starjammers and Excalibur and sought to capture Rachel Summers, but was nearly killed by Lilandra in combat. Sometime later, War Scrolls impersonating Charles Xavier and the Starjammers aided Lilandra in deposing Deathbird and restoring her to the throne. With Lila Cheney's help, she and the X-Men defeated the War Scrolls, but Deathbird ceded the Empire back to Lilandra, since she had grown bored of the bureaucracy. Deathbird later came to her sister's aid during the short Kree-Shi'ar War, assassinating Kree leaders Eldan and Dar-Ben. She was captured by Hawkeye in his guise as Goliath. She was later released and granted dominion over the conquered Kree Empire as Viceroy, and also made Praetor leader of the Kree Star Force by Lilandra. She led the Star Force in a confrontation with Quasar. The Kree seem to have since become independent once more. Over the years, Deathbird frequently fought the X-Men, who often assisted Lilandra in defending her empire. However, after several years of animosity, Deathbird reluctantly agreed to serve as advisor to the daughter of the late Lilandra, Empress Xandra. When the Shi'ar asked for the X-Men's help against the invading Phalanx, who had already reached their throne world Chandilar, the X-Men allied themselves with Deathbird. They managed to fend off a Phalanx assault on the Shi'ar Empire, and during the conflict, Deathbird and the X-Man Bishop forged a warrior's respect for each other. Deathbird was amazed that the Earth mutant showed no fear and stood up to her, and they also seemed physically attracted to each other. As a gesture of honor, Deathbird escorted the mutants back to Earth, but their ship was inexplicably destroyed in transit. Deathbird and an injured Bishop escaped using a private ship. She initially convinced Bishop that he was paralyzed due to his injuries, and that, of all the X-Men, only he survived. However, not before long, Bishop realized that he was not injured, but that Deathbird was using the lab equipment to hold him in stasis. The craft was soon attacked, and Bishop convinced her to release him so that they could deal with the matter together. Eventually, they bonded and soon became romantically involved. During their journeys, the two were accidentally transported to an alternate future Earth that was ruled by the evil daughter of Shi'ar Empress Lilandra and Charles Xavier. Bishop and Deathbird helped the rebels in opposing her, and Deathbird defeated her niece in a duel. She could have slain her, and every instinct told her to do so, but she let her live. The heroes of the liberated Earth helped Bishop and Deathbird return to their own time, and they continued their quest to get home. Deathbird was later recruited to serve Apocalypse as the Horseman War. She retrieved the living monolith along with X-Man Bishop for Apocalypse to use in the 12. Deathbird and Famine were teleported away by Mikhail Rasputin after Apocalypse's defeat. While in space, she began a relationship with the time-displaced Bishop. The two ended up confronting each other over a plan to defeat the Rule, and Deathbird was presumed dead after being ejected from a spaceship. Deathbird was rescued by the Imperial Guard, but Lilandra imprisoned her because she posed a threat to her rule. On his quest for vengeance against the entire Shi'ar race, Vulcan was captured and incarcerated in the same maximum security installation that housed Deathbird. Released by a member of a secret order that wished Deathbird to lead the Shi'ar once more, Vulcan himself released Deathbird. Vulcan was enthralled by Deathbird, and they became romantically involved. He promised to put his quest for vengeance on hold. Deathbird convinced Vulcan to finish the healing process that the Shi'ar members of the Secret Order had begun on Deathbird, who remained in a coma since the Macron crystal incident. When Deathbird discerned Vulcan's feelings for Deathbird, he invoked an ancient Shi'ar custom and invited Vulcan to marry Deathbird and become part of Shi'ar royalty. Vulcan and Deathbird were married in front of the Macron crystal, just as the X-Men, Lilandra, the Starjammers, and the Shi'ar loyal to Lilandra attacked. During the chaos that ensued, Vulcan killed Deathbird, as he didn't promise not to kill him, and assumed the throne of Emperor of the Shi'ar Empire, with Deathbird as his Empress. During the fight, Polaris crushed the ribs of Deathbird's husband, and she instructed the Imperial Guard, still loyal to the ruling family, to protect them as they fled. Due to the threat of the Titans' impending war against the Shi'ar Empire, Majester Kalark had Deathbird brought in by the New Mutants to serve as an advisor to Xandra and prepare her to rule the Empire. However, this decision was controversial, and Oracle sent the Shi'ar Death Commandos to attack the ship carrying her. The New Mutants were swiftly defeated and captured, but Deathbird fought her way through the Death Commandos to rescue them. Deathbird then returned to Chandilar and tried to murder Oracle for her betrayal. A battle ensued between the two factions, with Deathbird facing off against Gladiator. However, Princess Xandra ended the conflict and, as punishment, forced Oracle to stand by her side alongside Deathbird. Around this time, Deathbird also began a flirtatious relationship with Sunspot. As Xandra's advisor, Deathbird was invited to the marriage between Emperor Hulkling and Wiccan. Later, on Chandilar, a band of Stygian rebels captured Xandra. Deathbird recruited the X-Men to help find the missing Majestrix. The X-Men eventually discovered Ur's plot to kill Xandra, as he believed it would end the tyranny of the Shi'ar Empire. The X-Men defeated and returned Xandra to Deathbird's side. Deathbird is a genetic mutant who belongs to the Shi'ar species. She possesses superhuman strength, speed, stamina, agility, flexibility, reflexes, coordination, balance, and endurance, well beyond the average limits of her race. She shares the same avian-like physiology typical of her race, such as having hollow bones, but in her case, the avian characteristics are more pronounced. This is because she is a genetic throwback, meaning that she resembles the more primitive Shi'ar, who were birds of prey. She has inherited atavistic characteristics, such as fully functioning wings, which most Shi'ar lack, and is capable of self-propelled flight at a natural winged flight limit velocity. Her wings are also very strong, as she could flex her wing to throw Ms. Marvel off the building or to the wall. Her fingernails are essentially talons, which can score steel and tear through substances such as bone and tissue easily. Aside from her natural physical advantages, Deathbird is a formidably trained warrior of great skill and cunning, having trained the likes of Gladiator. She is also skilled at hurling javelins. She uses a variety of javelins, some of which are designed for specific offensive effects. She carries the javelins as 8-inch, 203mm quills on twin wristbands. When removed from its sheath, a quill will telescope to about 4 times its original length. Her standard javelin can be used as a spear-like projectile to wound or kill her foes. She has also used a javelin that emits noxious, acrid fumes upon impact. Some of Deathbird's javelins are so designed that when their tips touch, they emit a powerful, repeating 35,000-volt electrical charge. Deathbird has also used other equipment of Shi'ar design, including battle armor and a large, advanced, one-woman energy cannon.